So when we're talking about happiness, I think it's an interesting conversation because we start coming up with, but yes, but, you know? If I had to cheat and steal to get the $1 million, would I then be happy? If I had to take somebody's job to be happy, would I feel good about it? You know? So then we start investigating, so what is real happiness? Is it conditioned? At the moment, I think we would agree, happiness is conditioned. The happiness that we're depending upon is conditioned. It's dependent upon the car, the house, the relationship, the friends, the society. All the things around us condition us into a feeling of happiness. But what happens when all of those conditions change? Say you lose your job, and so you lose your status, you lose your money. Then your relationship starts to get a bit rocky, and then separates. And it's like you lose everything, then what? Would you still be happy? So that's the hard part, isn't it? Thinking, if I was living in a cave, up on a mountain, with very little food, would I be happy? People often say, when I'm in India and Nepal, oh, I'd love to live in a cave. I said, really? Yeah, it must be amazing. I said, yeah. Within a short time, you put a door on the cave, right? So you start with a cave, very simple, and then you think, maybe it's not safe. Maybe I need to have a door. So then you put a door, and then you need a lock, right? So now you need a key. So now you have a door, a lock, a key. Now it's dark. Now I need a window. So then you make a window. You need glass. So you have to keep going down to the market, which is nice because you meet people, you know, and you can chat, not alone, like you would be in the cave. And so then you start to furnish, you know. Well, can't just have a bare floor like this. Now I've got a door and I've got a window. I should have curtains and I should have a carpet. And what about cooking? You know, I need a stove. So you keep going backwards and forwards, buying all this stuff. That's the dissatisfied mind. The satisfied mind, not the desire mind, but the satisfied mind would just be able to sit in the cave. It's okay, you know. But we can't sit in the cave and think, it's okay. We want to furnish the cave. So we're in the cave for a week or 2 weeks, and suddenly it's all furnished. Where is that coming from? It's the desire mind. I actually know one nun, American nun, who did this. We were living in Dharamsala. We have a retreat center in Dharamsala. And she decided the rooms in the retreat center weren't quiet enough, weren't good enough for retreat. She wanted a cave. So she went up the mountain where there's meditators in the mountain, up on top of the mountain. So she went up there and she found a cave. So she came back so excited. I found a cave. Okay, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to shop. So she went down to town and she bought loads of stuff, you know, food, all different things. And then she had to hire a donkey or two to carry all this stuff up the mountain, right? So off she went up to the mountain. And about a week later, she came back and she said, it's too cold. I need a door. So she got a carpenter and she put a door on the cave. And then she bought some carpet. And then I think she had to have a mattress. And it went on like this for a few weeks. So maybe for a month, she was doing all this shopping and organizing and, you know, not thinking this is the desire mind, but thinking this makes sense, right? That once I've done all of this, I'm going to be happy. So she finished, it was all very nice, and the monk who'd been living in the cave for many, many years and had never done anything to the cave, and that's why it was as it was, original, came back with, there's a door on the cave, there's furniture, you know, it's like fully furnished. He came back and what happened? And she said, oh, this is my cave and I furnished it and I've done all this. And he said, no, this is my cave Thank you very much. I really appreciate everything you've done. Goodbye. And she came back to the retreat center and said, I lost my cave. You know? So for us, it was a really incredible teaching on this mind that is always looking for improvement. You know? Not necessarily in the sense of self-improvement, you know, I want to have more qualities, but in the sense of we focus outwards on the conditions around us. So if I put air conditioning in, then I'll be happy. And then you put the air conditioning and then you think, gosh, this air is dry. I need a humidifier. Then I'll be happy. You know? And then you put the humidifier, and then. If your happiness is always based on what you have, then it's always acquiring. It's always moving. And in the Buddhist text it says, trying to gain happiness this way is like drinking salt water. When you're thirsty, if you drink salt water, you will never be satisfied. You will never think that's enough. And I had the same experience as you in Australia when I was young, just starting in business. I always used to think, once I have, I used to think $1 million, I'll be happy. Once I have a sports car and a house, I'll be happy. So I got the sports car, I got the house, and then I had a car accident. Somebody hit me. I was helping somebody outside the house because their car had broken down, and somebody hit the car I was standing in front of, and I went under the car and nearly died. And so for a year I couldn't work. And every day I used to wake up and think, I could have died. So under that car, I could have died. And if I died, could I have taken the money, the sports car, the house, the status, society, whatever? Could I take anything with me? Of course not. So what value is all of that when you have to go, when you have to leave? So this was an amazing meditation. I wasn't Buddhist, but every single day I used to think, I could have died. And if I died, what use were all these other things? The only thing I could take with me is what I've done. The qualities. If you have qualities, you take them. But you don't take anything else. You don't take anything material. So then when I went back to work, I couldn't work in the same way. So it was interesting that from this 1 year of thinking about death, then my mind completely changed. You can't be ruthless anymore. You know, you can't want others to suffer in order to make you happy. You can't make money out of others' suffering. You just can't be the same way if you were any of those things. And I don't think I was ruthless, but I think when we're thinking about being very successful, we can step on people, you know. And when you look back, this is not what makes you happy. So we have to think about what makes us really happy, rather than the short term, 1 day, 1 week, I'm happy. But then long term, I suffer because of trying to make that short term happiness. Right? There's a difference between that short term happiness and doing anything necessary to get that short term happiness, and then that long term happiness which is without conditions, the happiness that just arises from a quality mind. So in the short term, are you doing what you want to do? Are you behaving the way you want to behave? And if you have to cheat, steal and lie in order to be happy, is that real happiness? I think we'd agree, of course not. But then it's what people will do in order to take somebody's job, in order to make more money, these sort of things. So it's really important to check, does happiness come from objects? I was sure it did, you know. I have a friend still who has to have a Mercedes 450 SL sports car or whatever, with the metallic top, has to have it, because if he doesn't, he's not happy. You know, it's amazing how people are sure that the happiness is contained in the car, or in the TV, or in the relationship, or whatever it is. So, is it true? This is why we need to investigate what's the purpose of our life. If the purpose of our life is to buy a car, once you bought your car, you should be incredibly happy. Right?